So this says to solve the equation in the specified interval. So I'm solving this, and I'm making sure that all my answers are in between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, so the first thing that I think of doing is taking the inverse tangent of both sides. And I'm getting out my calculator. I'm making sure that it's in radians as well. And these cancel out. That's the definition of an inverse trig function. So I get x equals, and then 2.5, I'll take inverse tangent of that. Second inverse tangent. And that's 1.1902899, and it continues. So here's the thing. I know 0 is 0. That's great. Well, I'll do this in a different color. And this is about 6.28 and other stuff. All right, so this angle fits within that interval. Great. But I also know that if I use inverse tangent, I get angles between negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. So in this case, it happens, this is slightly smaller than pi over 2. Pi over 2, I'm going to get that in my calculator. Pi divided by 2, that's 1.57-ish. So this is definitely smaller than pi over 2. That's great. If we look at our original, in this case, x1, I'm going to call this x1. x1 ends up being somewhere in here. So that's x1. x1 is an angle, right? Because you're plugging it inside the trig function, so it's an angle. But I also know that, well, this is a positive tangent value right here. But if the way tangent works, all students take calculus. I know that tangent is positive down here as well. So if I have this, I think these are the two angles that would work. So that's x1 there, and then this would be x2. Now, how do I get that? Well, this is just a straight line. It's completely a straight line. So for tangent, there's that first angle. This is getting kind of messy. There we go. That first angle is there. That's x1. x2, well, this is 180 degrees, so I can just add pi to that. So 1.1902899 and so forth, plus pi. That gives me my second angle. And I think those are the only ones within 0 to 2 pi. If I added another pi to this, I would pass 2 pi and then continue on, so that would be too far. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to evaluate this and just make sure that it gives me 2.5. And I'm going to do it in my calculator. So what I would do is I would type this in and then add pi and then take tangent of it. And if you did it properly, and if you have enough decimal places, it should be 2.500000000, and then eventually like a 5 or something, and it rounds just because we rounded. So those are the two there, and we don't have to do anything fancy because it already falls within that interval. So that's it for that. It's important to know that all students take calculus part. This means that every trig function is positive there. Only sine is positive here. Cosine and tangent are negative. Tangent is positive here. Sine and cosine are negative. And cosine is positive here. Sine and tangent are negative. And that's how I figured out that, well, it'll be the same thing down here. So there you have it.